Welcome back to our show. I'm Anquinette Crosby. When I heard about the film, We Wear the Mask, The Hidden Face of Poverty, I knew I wanted to meet the filmmaker that produced it. She opens up about her struggles of growing up poor and how she came out on the other side by finding success.
When I had two kids to feed and take care of, like there wasn't any time for crying or whining or complaining. I didn't let them know that I was robbing Peter to pay Paul to make sure our lights or gas stayed on or the water stayed on. So I think they just thought I was super mom, try to do all this stuff and make it seem effortless when I was falling apart on the inside.
Joining me is the producer Tammy Thompson and Veniecia Robinson, one of the women featured in the film. Welcome both of you to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Thanks for being here, and thank you for opening up and telling us your story. So Tammy, I want to talk to you. You experienced poverty firsthand, and you say when your family moved to Pittsburgh in 1971, your family went there with $65 with the promise of a job. And then what happened?
Yeah, so we actually arrived in Pittsburgh in the summer of 1978. My father had been working in the coal mine since he was about 15 years old, and he was looking for something different, something less filthy, something less dangerous, and something more steady. And so he made the trek to Pittsburgh because he had a cousin who lived here who offered help in getting work in the steel mills. When the steel mills back in the 70s, that was a great blue collar job that you could support a family on. And that kind of speaks to his desperation to get to something better for his family, to pack us up with everything we owned and a dog and $65 and drive to Pittsburgh. And we got here and it didn't work out. And so we ended up homeless. The first week we were here, we ended up living in our car in downtown Pittsburgh. And while my mother and father took turns going out looking for work. And it didn't pan out, right? So my brother and I ended up in a foster home. They eventually were able to get us back, but the long journey of trauma started there, and there was no turning back from that. That is a very difficult thing to come back from, and it impacted our entire family.
Veniecia, let's bring you in. Similar story, almost similar background.
Similar, I would say I grew up in the housing projects in Pittsburgh. It's called Northview Heights. So I was raised in housing projects. I mean, statistically, yes, similar. I didn't have both my parents. My mother, she sold drugs. My father died when I was 2. So I'm the 4th out of 7 kids. So a lot of, selling drugs. I saw a lot of poverty. Just in an environment that wasn't conducive for children.
Tammy, how do you go from being in foster care? You said you found darkness, or darkness found you. How do you come out of that and then make a film like this?
Well, I think the film is a culmination of passion, right? After, I feel like I have a passion for people. I want to do whatever I can do personally and professionally to try to keep people out of that darkness that I was in for so long. I do believe that people end up in poverty a lot longer than they need to be. There's a lot of policy and systems issues that I feel perpetuate poverty. But I also wanted people to understand the psychological, emotional trauma that comes with long-term exposure to poverty. I think when people speak about poverty, they tend to think about the financial aspect, which is very important. But I strongly believe that the psychological and emotional impact can sometimes be more detrimental than the financial.
We're going to talk more about that right after the break. So stay with us, ladies. Thank you for opening up, but we want to hear more. Stay with us, everyone. More of their story when we come back.